Making headlines this hour, President of Maldives Association for Construction Industry, Muhammad Ali Janah, says that the Maldives sustains one of the strongest economies among the island nations. Bank of Maldives opens a dedicated US dollar ATM center near Artificial Beach in Mali City. And Chief of India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, Amit Shah, claims that his party would form the next government in northern Uttar Pradesh state by winning polls with a two-thirds majority.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to news in English on TVM with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. And now the news in detail. Minister of Environment and Energy Tariq Ibrahim calls on the public to give high priority to protect the environment as the government is working towards making Maldives an economically sustainable country. He further added that as Maldives depends vastly on the environment, the public should pursue safe ways to manage the waste produced. Tariq Ibrahim also said that he believes the public appreciates the government's policies to solve the issues facing the country's vulnerable environment. Environment Ministry has highlighted that waste management has been one of the biggest issues facing the country's vulnerable environment. According to Environment Ministry, 1.7 kilograms of waste are being generated per person in capital Mali City every day, and 0.8 kilograms of waste are being generated in other islands per head, while 3.5 kilograms of waste are generated per guest every night they spend in the resorts. Environment Ministry has been carrying out waste management projects across the country. President of Maldives Association for Construction Industry, MASI, Muhammad Ali Janah, says that the Maldives sustains one of the strongest economies compared to other island nations. He added that the country's economy has been growing at an unprecedented rate. Government has been working on building other industries in the country in an effort to stop the over-dependence on the tourism industry, which currently is the main single largest industry in the Maldivian economy. Under the government's effort, the construction industry has been growing rapidly in recent times. According to the statistics published by the Maldives Monetary Authority, MMA, the number of companies working in the construction industry has risen in the last quarter of 2016. The MMA survey also showed that these companies would hire more employees during 2017. President of MASI, Janah, said the reason behind the rapid rise of the construction industry has been the strict policies of the government. He added that the financial condition of the citizens has been rising at a strong rate, highlighting that the current per capita income or average income in the Maldives is at around $8,000. 2016 saw a 3.9% growth in the economy, while this amount has been estimated to rise up to 4.7% by the end of 2017. Vice President of Maldives National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Ismail Asif, says the rise of foreign companies participating in local expos show the growth of a local economy. Speaking to the media after the opening ceremony of Maldives Living Expo 2017, Ismail Asif said the expo will provide a platform for the people working in the real estate industry and those who are looking to buy apartments to share information and work together. He added that the expo would provide information about apartments available in the Maldives and also in neighboring countries. He also added that the increase in foreign investments in the industry shows that the industry has huge potential in the country. The subcontractor of Muli Island Land Reclamation Project says the project will be completed next month. The land reclamation project of Muli Island of Meme Atoll will see 40 hectares of land reclaimed. Subcontractor of the project Evolution Company said 36 hectares of land have been reclaimed so far and that the project will be completed before the end of next month. Country Office Director of Evolution, Asadullah Shahib, said the project will be handed over to the contractor Maldives Transport and Contracting Company MTCC after reclaiming the remaining 4 hectares of land. The total cost of the project, which began in December 2014, is over 99 million rupiah. Muli Island, with a population of 1,000 people, have been facing problems due to lack of land area, which the government hopes to address after the completion of the project. According to Muli Council, the island's economy would also benefit through various projects that can be initiated in the newly reclaimed land. In business, we have a Bank of Maldives opens a dedicated US dollar ATM center near Artificial Beach in Male City. The new facility was launched as part of the bank's Aharenge Bank campaign. This center will be open 24 hours a day and houses 3 state-of-the-art multifunctional ATMs which allow customers to deposit and withdraw US dollars, make payments and transfer money. The ATM was inaugurated by BML CEO and Managing Director Andrew Healy, who was joined by staff from BML's channel management and ATM management team. BML is the only bank providing US dollar ATM services in the country, which was introduced in December 2014. At the press conference held today, Deputy CEO and Director of Operations Muhammad Sharif said it was an important step in the bank's efforts to make banking easier for the customers. He said since its launch, the US dollar ATM service has been very well received by the customers, with more than 645,000 transactions made through the US dollar ATM centers last year. He further said the total withdrawal amount also exceeds 220 million US dollars in the same period, highlighting that these figures show a huge number of customers avoided visiting a branch to make US dollar transactions. Aharenge Bank is a nationwide campaign that underlines the bank's commitment to the bond with the communities and people of Maldives. The bank recently announced that it would double its overall investment in communities to 300 million rupiah this year. Mercury Maldives says that the resort developed in Kudu Island located in Gulf Alif Atoll will be opened next month. Mercury Maldives Kudu Resort will be the first resort that will operate in an island with a domestic airport. The 68-villa resort with 43 overwater villas, 25 of which are scattered along the white sandy beach, has been built using local materials. The interior design will feature bright colors and stylish furniture, reflecting Maldivian culture and the spirit of travel. The resort will also boast a fitness center, tennis facilities, 2 restaurants and bars, a range of water sports and excursions, and a kids club. Kudu Resort is the 5th resort developed in Gulf Alif Atoll. International luxury tour operator Carrier says that the Maldives was the operator's second best-selling destination in January 2017. According to the tour operator, bookings made for resorts and hotels in Maldives increased by 26% compared to the same month of the previous year. Overall, Carrier saw a 9% rise in January peak bookings period bookings. The uplift gave the company one of its best ever booking months following a strong 2016. The company registered in England and Wales said that the Caribbean, Europe and Africa emerged as the top performing destinations. Growth was also recorded to Thailand, Malaysia, Australia, Florida, California and Canada. Maldives Association of Travel Agents and Tour Operators, Matato, signs a MOU with one of the leading travel organizations in India, Travel Agents Federation of India, TAFE, to extend a cooperation in joint marketing and networking efforts that promote travel trade between the two countries. The MOU was signed on 16th of February 2017 by Vice President of TAFE, Pradeep Lula, and Deputy Secretary General of Matato, Asra Nasim, during a special function hosted in Maldives Pavilion at the South Asian Travel and Trade Exhibition. Matato said that this MOU will allow the two organizations to combine resources to further extend marketing and networking activities and also share market data and research that will help further improve marketing strategies. Under this agreement, support will also be shared through collaborations and endorsement to develop and promote the existing programs and products of the two organizations. The Travel Agents Federation of India, TAFE, was established in 1986. It is a dynamic organization that guides the travel industry in India. It is a professional body of travel agents coordinating different segments of the travel trade and is a non-political, non-commercial and not-for-profit body. Rolls-Royce suffers a record headline loss of £4.6 billion as a fine to settle bribery charges, and the collapse in the pound from Brexit kept a difficult few years for the British aero engine maker.
Already reshaping its business after a series of profit warnings, Rolls said it needed to cut more costs after its underlying profit halved to £813 million last year. City Index market analyst Ken Odeluga said that this was their biggest net loss ever.
The main news here is not necessarily the fact that they've made the biggest net loss ever. It's the fact that they, on an underlying basis, the net profit has actually beaten expectations.
Chief Executive Warren East, brought in to restructure the group in 2015, said the business portfolio was broadly correct, but he needed to review 20% of its operations and would decide on further actions in the coming months. Rolls-Royce, which makes engines for wide-body civil jets and defense and marine customers, said it expected modest performance improvements this year and would aim to keep its free cash flow at a similar level in 2016. Last year, the group halved its dividend to shore up its finances, the first cut of the payout for 24 years. It kept the dividend at the same level this time, a move it said would allow it to maintain a degree of flexibility in its balance sheet. The drop in the pound against the dollar resulted in a £4.4 billion non-cash charge on its hedging book, which increased to $38 billion. Most aircraft deals are priced in dollars, forcing Rolls-Royce to hedge future income. The headline's loss also included the £671 million it's agreed to pay to settle bribery investigations in Britain, the United States and Brazil last month. The sum is payable over 5 years, but Rolls-Royce has taken the full charge now.
Rolls-Royce's order book has continued to grow during the quarter. It has got the overhang of the conduct issues largely behind it now. The cost savings program is on track. The net present value of that should actually enable it to beat its very, very conservative sort of outlook for the year. I think, yes, we needed to see a little bit of punishment for the share. It's not a minor thing, a $5.8 billion loss, but nevertheless, I think the outlook is a lot better now.
Rolls said it was well underway with its transformation program, achieving £60 million in savings in 2016 and was on track for its 2017 target too. It is troubled marine division, which has been hit by weak demand from shipping and energy customers. It took a £200 million goodwill impairment to reflect a more cautious outlook. The group has also been hit by a slowdown in high-margin aircraft engine servicing, in part caused by reduced use of older aircraft and lower sales of its Trent 700 engine that powers the Airbus A330, which is being superseded by the A330neo.
chief of India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party BJP, Amit Shah, claims that his party would form the next government in northern Uttar Pradesh state by winning polls with a two-thirds majority.
The election in Uttar Pradesh is a contest between Prime Minister Narendra Modi's BJP-led National Democratic Alliance (NDA) and a coalition of regional Samajwadi Party and India's opposition Congress Party that campaign for the empowerment of lower caste Hindus and the minority Muslim community. Also in the fray is the low-caste Dalit leader Mayawati-led Bahujan Samaj Party (BSP), which ruled the state from 2007 to 2012. The seven-phase voting is underway in Uttar Pradesh to elect a new assembly to govern the most poorly state of nearly 220 million people that lies along the river Ganges. Shah, while talking to reporters in Gorakhpur district in Uttar Pradesh province, said that the BJP will sweep the state elections as it had done in 2014 parliamentary elections. Modi's Nationalist Party hopes to replicate its strong performance in 2014 general elections when it polled 42% of the vote in state in 2014 general elections, sweeping 71 out of 80 seats. The elections in Uttar Pradesh will have a key influence on Modi's chances of clinching a second term as Prime Minister in 2019. Results of Uttar Pradesh elections, along with those in states of Punjab, Goa, Uttarakhand and Manipur, are due on March 11.
The Pakistani army launches a nationwide crackdown on terrorism after a spate of recent attacks, including a suicide bombing in the southern Sindh province, which killed at least 80 people and wounded more than 200 others late Thursday.
According to the military, Pakistani security forces killed and arrested dozens of militants on Friday. Security forces in Sindh said they killed 18 militants in overnight operations in the province following the bombing of centuries-old Lal Shahbaz Qalandar shrine in the town of Sehwan. Meanwhile, in the northwestern Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, police said they killed 11 militants. The blast at the popular shrine was one of the deadliest in Pakistan and came after at least 7 extremist attacks in this week, and some of which in the cities of Peshawar, Lahore and Quetta. Some of the attacks have been claimed by Pakistani Taliban, while others by IS group. In response to the fresh waves of terrorist attacks, the Pakistani government and military have vowed strong measures against militants in the country. The recent attacks also threaten to drive a deeper wedge between Pakistan and Afghanistan. After the attack at the shrine, Islamabad quickly lashed out at Kabul, saying the bombing was masterminded from across the border in militant sanctuaries in Afghanistan. Pakistani authorities sealed the Tokham and Shaman border crossings with Afghanistan for an infinite period late Thursday. Also on Thursday, the Pakistani army summoned Afghan diplomats to its headquarters in the city of Rawalpindi and gave them a list of 76 militants whom Pakistani officials claim are hiding in Afghanistan, urging Afghanistani authorities to hand over the militants as soon as possible. Pakistan and Afghanistan have long accused each other of giving shelter to militants to roam across their border.
The Democratic People's Republic of Korea DPRK embassy in Malaysia says that it will categorically reject the post-mortem conducted by Malaysian authorities on its national who died in the country on Monday and has demanded the immediate transfer of the body. DPRK Ambassador Kang Chol said in a statement delivered to the media outside the Forensic Department of Hospital Kuala Lumpur that the Malaysian side forced the post-mortem without their permission and that they will categorically reject the result of the post-mortem conducted unilaterally, excluding their attendance. The victim, a man the Malaysian authorities claimed as Kim Jong-nam, the half-brother of DPRK top leader Kim Jong-un, died in Kuala Lumpur on Monday. Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop urges North Korea to stop its nuclear and ballistic missile program.
According to the Australian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Bishop arrived in South Korea on Friday for a 2-day visit to meet senior government officials, including the Director of National Security Office, Kim Kwon-jin. During her visit to Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, Dividing North Korea and South Korea, she urged the North Korean regime to seize its nuclear weapons, a nuclear program and its ballistic missile program, and called to focus its limited resources on assisting its impoverished people of North Korea.
We urge the North Korean regime to cease its nuclear weapons and nuclear program and its ballistic missile program, and instead focus its limited resources on assisting the impoverished people of North Korea.
North Korea fired the missile on a high arc into the sea early on February 12th, the first probe of US President Donald Trump's vow to get tough on the country. The isolated regime tested nuclear devices and ballistic missiles last year at an unpredicted rate.
Australia joins with Republic of Korea and other nations in condemning this latest provocative and dangerous act. It is not only a threat to the people of the Republic of Korea, but it's a threat to our region and globally. It is in clear breach of United Nations Security Council resolutions and invites condemnation and sanctions action from around the world.
North and South Korea are still technically at war since the 1950-53 Korean War ended in truce without a peace treaty. The DMZ is a 4-kilometer wide buffer fortified with land miles and barbed wire stretching across the Korean peninsula, with more than 1 million soldiers and heavy military equipment deployed on both sides.
U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Paul Ryan says that the U.S. President Donald Trump was right to seek the resignation of Michael Flynn after disclosures the National Security Advisor misled the Vice President and others about his conversations with a Russian diplomat. Ryan said he would leave it to the administration to explain the circumstances behind Flynn's departure. Ryan told reporters that he thinks that as soon as a person lost the president's trust, the right thing to do is for the president to ask for his resignation. The Muslim Bosniak member of the country's presidency says that Bosnia will appeal a UN court ruling that cleared Serbia of blame for genocide, despite a warning by his Serb and Croat colleagues that it would spark a political crisis.
The 2007 judgment by the International Court of Justice exonerated Serbia of direct responsibility for killings, rapes and ethnic cleansing in Bosnia during the violent breakup of Yugoslavia in the 1990s, though it said Serbia had filed in its responsibility to prevent genocide. The ICJ ruling also concluded that genocide had occurred at Srebrenica, where about 8,000 Muslims were slaughtered by Bosnian Serbs forces, though not in other parts of Bosnia. Barik Izetbegovic, a member of Bosnia's three-man presidency that also includes Serbian and Croatian representatives, has engaged a lawyer without their consent to prepare the lawsuit ahead of a 10-year deadline that falls on February 26th. Izetbegovic, who heads the largest Bosniak party, SDA, told a news conference after meeting legal experts and war survivors that the request for revision will be filed next week. The lawyer will present new evidence, including material from the trial of Ratko Mladic, the former Bosnian Serb general facing charges at the UN War Crimes Tribunal in The Hague over his role in the Srebrenica massacre. On Tuesday, the Bosnian presidency's Serb chairman Mladen Ivanic said an appeal would violate the country's constitution and further widen divisions among the rival ethnic groups which fought the 1992-95 war. Ivanic told reporters at a news conference in Sarajevo that any revision in a new case and requires support of the institutions of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and that there is no such support in this case. Ivanic added that this will be a misuse of the institutions of Bosnia and Herzegovina because the majority in the country do not support revision of the lawsuit. Government officials in Serbia, which provided financial and logistic support for Bosnian Serb troops during the war, have also said renewed legal action would further sour relations.
According to an expert on international relations, Dr. Ahmad Qasim Khan, the different interests of all parties involved in the Syrian crisis are the obstacle to achieving a breakthrough at the just concluded peace talks in the Kazakh capital of Astana.
The meeting, the second time key players Russia, Turkey and Iran have brought serious war inside to Astana, ended on Thursday without a joint communique. Speaking after the meeting, the chief negotiator for the Syrian government, Bashar Jafari, blamed Turkey and the opposition it backs for the failure to produce a final statement. Dr. Han of Kadir Has University in Istanbul said he did not agree with what Jafari said, adding that the deep divide and the lack of trust between Syria's war inside were the reason why the Astana talks had not yielded anything practical.
However, I do not agree with that statement because I think Astana talks are not going anywhere because of all of the parties involved. With such disparate interests on the table, it would be very hard for anyone to find an agreement, especially in the lack of any desire for any concession.
Aside from the differences between the Syrian government and opposition, Moscow, Ankara and Tehran had different focuses at the meeting. Ankara suggested consolidating a 6-week ceasefire in Syria and leaving the political settlement of the country's crisis to the talks in Geneva, scheduled for February 23rd, while Moscow suggested focusing on Syria's political process and the new draft of the country's constitution. The head of the foreign news desk of the Istanbul-based Haberturk newspaper, Ozhan Tilit, said Russia, Turkey and Iran also have different concerns regarding Syria's political process, with Russia and Iran supporting Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, while Turkey insisting the key for future political settlement is that Assad steps down. He also pointed out Ankara's biggest concern, the Kurdish fighters of the Popular Protection Units in northern Syria, which Turkey views as an extension of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, a Turkish Kurdish opposition group fighting for autonomy since 1980s.
As you know, the PKK is a terrorist organization and killing Turkish soldiers, Turkish police and Turkish civilians. And the same PKK sister on Syria's soil and now is acting like an half state at the northern border of the Turkey.
Others said the main concern of Russia is its geopolitical interest in the Middle East, while Iran wants to boost sheer influence in the region. With the many differences in interests and concerns between Syria's war inside and between key power brokers, more efforts are needed to turn the fragile ceasefire in Syria into a lasting settlement and push forward the political process of the war-torn country.
In sports, we have Arsene Wenger says that he will definitely still be a manager next season, whether at Arsenal or somewhere else.
Wenger said he would make a decision in March or April on whether to extend his 20-year spell at Arsenal. He left open the possibility that he would walk away from the North London club and to another job. The second longest serving manager in the history of the Premier League, Wenger is out of contract at the end of the season. He has not won the league title since 2004, and calls for him to end his association with Arsenal have grown louder since the team's 5-1 Champions League thrashing at Bayern Munich on Wednesday. That first leg defeat is almost certain to condemn Arsenal to their 7th successive Champions League exit and the competition's first knockout stage. Wenger told a news conference on Friday, before his team's 5th round FA Cup clash away to non-league Sutton United on Monday, that he will speak to the board about the future.
I think, we can speak now. I know that the media like this kind of press conferences, but what is important for us is to focus on our next game and let everybody judge and criticize. We have to deal with that, with the media, and focus on what is our job. We can analyze with clarity what happened and focus on what is in front of us and take care of what we can influence now. Is not the last result. We can influence that when you play Bayern at home, but at the moment we have to focus on what is in for our next game.
Arsenal have consistently qualified for Europe's elite club competition, but their failure to progress has become a milestone around Wenger's neck. Their inability to turn promising domestic season starts into sustained title challenges has also left him vulnerable to criticism, and former players are now joining in a chorus of disapproval. Former Arsenal captain Martin Keown described Wednesday's defeat as Wenger's lowest point, while ex-defender Lee Dixon added that the team is getting no response from him. With Arsenal's fourth in the Premier League table and trailing leaders Chelsea by 10 points with 13 games to play, the FA Cup appears once again to be the North London's club's last hope for silverware this season. It was the subject of Wenger's future, however, that dominated the manager's news conference.
I think we have to focus on real problems, and real problems are the way we play football and not my future. The priorities are how we respond to defeat and how we play together. That's what it is to be professional. It's always important not to look for wrong excuses in life and to focus on what is important, what you can influence and what is your job.
Wenger also denied reports of dressing room bust up after the defeat of Bayern's Allianz Arena.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant night ahead.